And I saw her coming in here, and she said, so are you going to finally endorse Nikki Haley for president? You bet your ass I am! Let's get this thing done! We are all in on Nikki Haley, undoubtedly. And you can feel the energy. You can feel it. Exception.
I think all of Manchester is here. Good job. The question is, did they come for you or did they come for me?
You're in charge.
It's a great night in New Hampshire. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. To go and get endorsed by the live free or die governor is about as rock solid of an endorsement as we could hope for.
People that have come across the border, and it's a #1 priority. What are you going to do with the 8 million people? How are you going to sort out those that can help the country, the terrorists, the people that really don't belong here? What's the plan?
You gotta send them back. You have to send them back, and I know that sounds cold, but the reason you have to send them back is you have, I mean, truly, so many people standing in line doing it the right way. We are a country of laws. We're a country of laws. The second we stop being a country of laws, we give up everything this country's founded on. Biden just gave temporary protective status to 500,000 Venezuelans. I know what happens when you do that, because when I was at the United Nations, guess what? They pick up the phone and they tell their families to come on over. We have to stop incentivizing them to come. When they start seeing that people are actually being sent back, that's when they stop. But we have to stop rewarding bad behavior. So as bad as it sounds, they all go back, and they can get in line and come through the right way. But we have to protect American safety, and that's the way I think we do it.
I love the way you talk about hard truths, so here comes a hard truth. I totally agree with you about President Trump's chaotic, what he brings to our country at this point with the chaotic behavior. But the hard truth is that he's got, in the polls, he's got well over 50%. And I'm wondering if it came to it, which I hope it doesn't, but if it comes to it and he becomes president again, would you consider the vice presidency?
It's not that big of a deal of a question. Because what you have to know is, I don't play for second.
I think that's why Donald Trump's nervous.
Ambassador Haley, how would you handle the Houthis attacking cargo ships in the Red Sea if elected?
Well, first of all, the Houthis are doing this because Iran's telling them to. The same way the Hamas did it because Iran told them to. We have got to nip this in the bud. They use their proxies to do their dirty work. Biden should never have lifted the sanctions on them. He funneled all the money into those proxies. He never should have given $6 billion for 5 hostages. And he shouldn't be this week sitting there telling Israel what they should or shouldn't do. We have to go and let Iran know what we expect of them. Biden is yet to do it. He's weak, he's hiding in a corner, and he's got to stop it because he's putting our military men and women at risk, and he's making America less.
I want to ask you about a little bit of the intra-Republican conflict we're seeing. Vivek's been attacking Nikki Haley a lot during the debates.
Right.
He called her a fascist neocon,
right.
Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels. What's your reaction to Haley being attacked like that by Vivek Ramaswamy?
I mean, I don't know what he's thinking about, but the fact of the matter is, if Vivek Ramaswamy wants to get any women votes, I don't think he would insult Nikki Haley for wearing high heels. I mean, I don't even understand this guy.
What's your reaction to him constantly calling her a warmonger and things like that?
Well, I mean, I think that it's important in this country to support Israel and to support Ukraine. So if that makes you a warmonger, then, you know, I'm on board with that, and I think most of the country is. So, I mean, if you want to talk about other wars, well, then of course, but she's not. She's just very strong. She strongly thinks we should be in helping Israel, and she strongly thinks we should be helping Ukraine. And the fact of the matter is, it seems like that's the right path for this country at this point.
At the debate, Vivek Ramaswamy called her a fascist neocon, and Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels. What's your reaction to Vivek Ramaswamy attacking Nikki Haley like this?
He's the first presidential primary candidate I've seen. I'm making a point to see as many as I can. I saw him a couple months ago, and he hadn't started that stuff then. It's a total turnoff to me after the Trump years of him calling people names and demeaning them based on their looks or weight or whatever. I have no time for that. That's childish and beneath the dignity of the post.
What do you think when he says he calls her a warmonger specifically? Do you think that Nikki Haley's a little bit too hawkish?
No, I think she's a realist, and anyone who doesn't realize the threats that are all around us has their head in the sand.
That's going on. Vivek Ramaswamy's been attacking Nikki Haley a lot. She called her a fascist neocon, Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels. Have you heard that stuff, and what's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I've watched most of the debates, and I thought what he's been saying, some of it is just outrightly, it's just sexist. Like, would we be saying about like the tie the guy was wearing or whatever, like to comment on her heels? Like, that's ridiculous. So he doesn't have anything to really say about her, so he's coming up with pathetic things to say.
He accuses her of being a warmonger. How would you respond to somebody who's saying that Nikki Haley's a little bit too hawkish?
No, I don't. I completely agree that we have to have a strong presence and be a strong supporter of Ukraine and Israel, and we need to do that so we don't end up in World War.
About Vivek accusing her of this stuff, calling her, again, a fascist neocon.
I think his views are extreme. You know, he doesn't understand that you cannot be in isolationist country in this world. Nikki Haley's got all that experience in the United Nations, experience being a governor of a state, which is kind of like being a president, all the things we have to manage. So she understands we have allies across the world. You can't just turn your back on your ally and walk away like he wants to do.
We're going to have a good time. You're going to see us anywhere and everywhere. We're going to fight for every one of your votes. But I'm going to leave you with this. When I first ran against that longest serving legislator in a primary, people laughed at me. And I got to work, and I earned their support, and we won.